I lost that bet.
Quinn's on his way. Quinn's on his way. He's gonna be a minute or two late.
All meetings, Wayne County Board, beginning with a prayer and a pledge.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the beautiful day you give us today, and we just ask for a spirit of unity and cooperation and wisdom tonight as we go about the business of the county. And we thank you and praise you in all things. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Martin Greenwald. I think he's going to be here in a few minutes. I don't want to see his stuff. Andy Glover.
Yep.
Brandon Biddles. Steve Manning.
Here.
Jeremy Woodard. Vern Hudson.
Here.
Steve Troyer. Randy Hedrick.
Here.
Eddie Barbary. Ron Woodland. Matt Shreve.
here.
Bill Bruce.
Here.
Gene Kolak.
Here.
Darrell Hargrave.
Here. Well, we're glad to have our guests, all the guests here with us this evening, and we have members of the Wayne County Humane Society that want to address the board, so if you would, the floor is yours.
My name is Michelle Richards. I'm the president of the Wayne County Humane Society. I'm just here tonight to, our representatives from, that sit on your board, that come to our board meeting, have basically, have asked us some questions about the way our contract has been set up, as specifically as to why we have individual contracts with each of the villages and or cities, for example, Sisseton, Golden Gate, you know, all the different ones. They've asked that those questions are coming from the rest of the board, and we told them that we would look into that. And so that's why I'm here tonight, is to explain that situation. So we did contact the Department of Agriculture and looked into that a little bit further. Our contract was originally set up that way, back when the Humane Society was set up, and that recommendation came from our lawyers. And it was set up that way because the instructions were told to us that in order to meet the individual ordinances of each of those villages and or cities, that that's the way we need to set that up. So that's the way, originally why we set it up that way. So when we contacted the Department of Agriculture here recently, she agreed that in order to do that, that's the way it should be set up. She said if we do not have contracts with, for example, Sisney, and they have an ordinance that is not covered by the county, then we cannot enforce that specific ordinance. If they, for example, would have a call and it is not covered under the county ordinance, then the person that would address that would be your local sheriff's department. So all those calls then would be directed to the sheriff's department. And then I gave you a packet with just a few examples of ordinances that are covered by some of the, like Sisney, Jeff, Golden Gate really doesn't have any, that are, I mean, they are very specific, way more specific than the county in general, our ordinances. So I know they talked about having like an umbrella policy. If you went with an umbrella policy, the only ordinances that then could be enforced would be the county ordinances, the Humane Care Act ordinances, and the animal control ordinance through the state. So I'm hoping that answers some of those questions that you all had. We do not have a contract with Mount Airy. I know they've had a lot of questions and complaints here lately. We do not have a contract with them. Those calls right now, when we get a call from Mount Airy, we call the sheriff's department, and those calls are directed towards them. So they're the only municipality, city, village, whatever you want to call it, that we do not have a contract with right now.
So on your piece of paper that you sent us, you guys have seen what it looks like when we got it, we can't read it, it's so light. But on the front page here towards the bottom, it says, the totals above request represent the number of dogs, cats picked up by the Wayne County Humane Society and Animal Control in Fairfield and non-contracted villages in the county. So it's matter you don't have a contract. This says in your writing in your paper that non-contracted should be picked up.
We don't have a contract with Mount Airy. We don't go to Mount Airy to pick up.
Why does this say and non-contracted villages?
I mean, I don't know, but we do not go to Mount Airy. We do not have a contract.
Within the county, it says.
I don't know, but we do not go to Mount Airy. We do not have a contract with them.
What about Kings?
We do have a contract with Kings. And then Wayne City has their own animal control.
I have a question for you. Assuming that you went out on a call for a dog that was a problem, what's the process? I mean, you go out and if you find that it is a problem, what can you do about it?
Well, I mean, depending on the situation right now, all we can do is pick it up and bring it back to our facility because we cannot write a ticket. Now, I know Alex, our employee, spoke to the sheriff wherever he is yesterday, and I know that, that Mr. Odie is willing to work with Alex about writing tickets, because right now we cannot write any type of ticket for people in the county for any ordinances they're breaking right now. So literally, there's no consequence in the county. So we're picking them up, we're bringing them to our facility, and they're sitting there.
But if you go out and you want to pick up an animal, and the owner says, I don't want you to pick up my animal, they're there, and you know it's been a problem, you just have to go back, right?
We go back, we go back, we back. Right now, we're leaving warnings over and over and over again. So, I mean, it's almost a waste of time. I mean, we leave 15, 20 warnings on people's doors because we can't write a ticket. So that's what's happening right now. So hopefully with the contact that Alex made yesterday with Chris, that now writing tickets will be, you know, a consequence for people that are repeat offenders.
What about a residence that's just infested with feral cats? How many cats can survive together?
A lot. So on the bottom of that sheet that I gave you, so we did contact the Department of Ag on feral cats. So feral cats can be brought into the facility. We can only hold them for 3 days. Within the 3 days, they must be spayed or neutered. They cannot be removed from the container and or trap that they are brought into the facility in. They must be fed and watered in the trap. If they are not spayed and neutered within the 3 days, then they must be euthanized. And she said that, you know, our turnaround time right now for spay and neuter is about 3 months to get them to a vet. And so then that gets into two questions. Number one, if they're going to be euthanized, who's going to pay the euthanasia fee? And same thing, if we get into a vet, then who's going to pay a spay and neuter fee?
So what's it cost to euthanize a cat?
It's usually by weight, so that's going to vary.
Give me a rough idea.
25, $30, I don't know. I mean, because we don't euthanize animals, I mean, that would be just a total guess.
Okay.
And then I did ask her a question, you know, how do you get in to feed a feral cat, you know, that's in a container? And her response to me was, good question. Because, you know, these are wild animals. So, you know, if it's in a trap, you know, you're talking about raising that flap up to get food and water in there. You know, those are dangerous situations, which is why we typically don't take in feral cats. I mean, we just don't take in feral cats. That's why we have not taken in feral cats in the past. And she said most facilities do not. And that's the reason why. So I think that's most of the questions. Bill, were there any other questions that, through those conversations that we had, that you asked us to?
Not that I remember.
Okay. Do you guys have any other questions related to any of that? But we have reached out to Mount Airy to see what they want to do, because I know, you know, they've had concerns. I did reach out to Beth Bowen. I think Andy brought up that she called the Humane Society about the incident with the boy on the bicycle. She did not call the Humane Society about that incident. I did reach out to her. She said she did not think anybody from that incident called the Humane Society, so I did double check with her. I did reach out to her. I know they had a Saturday market incident. I did reach out to those people as well. So we are trying to help them out with their situation. If anybody has a contact number of somebody from there that we can extend a contract with them, that I'm more than happy to do that. We probably spent 4 or 5 hours on the phone between the Saturday market and some loose dogs on Monday with Mount Airy. So, I mean, we're not just totally not trying to work with them. I just don't have a contact number for anybody in Mount Airy to reach out to them. But I did leave my information with Beth if she wanted to extend that number to somebody. So,
How much would a contract on not already cost?
So there is no fee for a contract, there's only a fee per run or per pickup. So there is no fee.
Agree that you'll do the picture.
And a lot of these smaller villages and towns, their board or sometimes their mayors, they want control of that. So like, for example, Golden Gate, if we get a call from Golden Gate, we have to double check with the mayor. So we call the mayor and he wants to know whether we're coming or not so that they don't get like a $500 bill. So we contact the mayor and say, hey, we got a call from so-and-so, they want us to come for a run, and then they give you the okay. Because like, for example, Mount Airy, we'd probably get a $300 or $400 bill because we get a lot of calls from them.
Right.
So we can work that type of contract out, and a lot of those small villages are, have that type of setup. Jeff is the same way, they kind of want to know, they don't just want anybody in John Q. Public being able to call us and us go.
Right.
So it's $30 per run or $30 per animal picked up, is the way those contracts are set up. So the contract itself is free.
I'd like to thank the Humane Society, three ladies here. I called in a situation about a dog in the house, been there for a good time. And they got on top of that, it took a little bit of time for them to do it, because you got steps you gotta take. You can't just walk in somebody's house that's not there and pick up their animal, even though they're abandoned, you can't just do that. But they got on top of it, stayed with it, and they did come in and they did take the dog out of that house and took it to the town. Now that dog will be a better place now. They're skinny, their hair was coming out, they wasn't eating, didn't have anything to eat and drink. But they did take care of that problem for me. So I thank you ladies for that.
So we're there for it. Any other questions that, while we're here, it seems like there's been a lot of questions that Andy and Bill have said that are coming from your board, so.
Do you charge $30 a run for out the county?
No. No.
Now there's in the county, so.
Well, that's why I reached out to the Department of Ag, because like I said, each of these villages have their own ordinances, and we cannot service those specific ordinances without having a contract.
If they got rid of their ordinance with animals, or they had the exact same thing as the county, you could go.
I don't think they'd want to do that, because your ordinances are very
The question-
minimal.
The question was, if they had the exact same ordinance as the county, or had no ordinance about animals, you would go.
I think that would be a contract issue, because what I'm telling you is your ordinances are very minimal, very vague. Their ordinances are very specific. I went through them all, and he's got some examples. I gave him examples that he can share with you if you want. Yours are very vague, and like Sims, spot on, very specific. I don't think they'd want to do that.
Well, too, you're talking about inside of the town.
They
Yeah,
have ordinance,
yeah.
I'll give you some examples if you want, because I did type them up. For example, Sissing says if your dog runs around with no rabies tags on, they want their dogs picked up. They have dogs and cats must be, if they're outside on a leash, they must be 20 feet from other people's property lines. If your dog is in a pen outside, it must be odor-free. These are very specifics that the county, you guys don't have any of those in the county. They're good. Mill Shoals has the same one. If it's 4 months or older, it must wear a collar wearing a rabies tags. A lot of them have that's called unlawful possession, that your dog can't go into other people's property and tear up their property in any manner. There's a lot of them that have those. A lot of them have what's called a dog barking or nuisance law that the county doesn't have. Sims specifically has an ordinance where you can't have any more than 6 animals that the county doesn't have. So, and it didn't say anything about snakes. There's a lot of, and this was just a few. I only just picked a few.
So if they sign a contract with you, why you want to charge them $30 if they're in the county?
Why do we?
Yeah, if they signed the contract, you said it cost $0. Why are you charging the villages $30 to go to their villages in the county?
That's per run or per
Right.
pickup.
Why?
That's our policy.
They have a board just like the city of the county.
Right.
But why are they have to pay $30 when they're in the county? And they can sign a contract, if you don't have to charge them $30 to go, because you're already getting paid through the county.
I mean, we run a business,
Right, I understand that.
and that's just the way we run our business.
So when we renegotiate our contract, we should drop down what the county's paying you, and then make another contract to service the villages?
Well, we can look at the contract, I mean, because, there are some issues with the contract.
So that way, all of our villages are covered, you know.
I mean, we do not make lucrative money off the $30.
Not saying you did. The county has a contract with you, service the county, and the villages are in the county, so I don't know why they're getting charged $30 a run when they're in the county.
What if you divide, you take the 3 cats, I can't remember, 3 cats and 6 dogs or vice versa, 9 animals, you pick up the county, you divide that by $3,000. We're paying a lot for it.
That's my only question.
I mean, we just, all I can say is we run a business, we have a business model. I mean,
Well, that's something we just have to renegotiate the contract.
So backing up to the contracts for, in the county with villages, Mount Airy is the only one you don't have a contract with.
correct.
I was under the understanding you didn't have one with Wayne City, but,
Wayne City has their own animal control, correct.
okay, so you don't pick up there.
No.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming and talking to us about it. Any other comments from our visitors? Okay, we have a Jay Edgren, who's resigning his position on the Greater Wabash Regional Planning Commission, and is recommending that we appoint Sharmila Kakak, did I say that right? To fill his position. And I'm going, if I don't have any objections, I'm going to do that. So consider that done.
Darrell, I think also need to think about appointing another, because Gary Sloan is also, they said on that, they called him.
Board member. I talked to Vernon, are you willing to serve?
Not really.
What is it actually?
Well, it's the region, Greater Wabash Regional Planning.
Yeah, I know what that is. I'll serve on that.
Okay. I'll appoint you.
Need to approve minutes. We got approved minutes. The minutes.
I was here, so.
Okay.
We got a little ahead of this.
Hey, old business?
Hey, Darrell, you want to back up and get the minutes?
We need to do your
Oh,
approval on
yeah.
that.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, I've been given a copy of the minutes from last month's meeting. There are no additions or corrections, but I entertain a motion to approve.
Thank you, motion.
Have a second. Steve Joy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay. New business. Dennis?
Yeah, a couple, gonna be building a bridge, in Massillon Township, so it's just typical stuff. First one is a petition for county aid. We always pay 10% of the township bridges just because they don't have they don't always have the funds to pay the full, their 20%, it's usually 80/20 on these township bridges, so we get funding for 80%, they pay 10%, we pay 10%. The other one is just to appropriate funds to cover our 10% of the project. That's what those. So you should have a petition and then one resolution in your board packet.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve the resolution to appropriate funds.
Yeah.
Nice and brief.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second, Dave. Roll call vote.
Cliff Greenwald,
Yes.
Andy Butler, Steve Manning,
Yes.
Darren Hudson,
Yes.
Steve Troyer, Randy Haggard,
Yes.
Matt Shree,
Yes.
Bill Bruce.
Yes.
Gene Kolak,
Yes.
Daryl Hargrave.
Yes. I need a motion to approval of the petition for county aid for construction of Madison Bridge 23-26-133-1. Steve Troyer.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Cliff Greenwald,
Yes.
Andy Butler,
Yes.
Steve Manning,
Yes.
Darren Hudson.
Yes.
Steve Troyer, Randy Haggard,
Yes.
Matt Shree,
Yes.
Bill Bruce.
Yes.
Gene Kolak,
Yes.
Daryl Hargrave.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Apologize, I've got to leave. Thank you.
While we're covering the road and bridge, I don't see no reason going over here and, road and bridge committee, do you have any additional things you want to report on? Okay, I'll just mark that off. State's attorney.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I don't have any specific reports. I would tell you that we've been extremely busy. One of the things that we've noted is that with the addition of Assistant State's Attorney Ellis, who's with us tonight, we've been able to make better use of the pretrial Fairness Act and utilize both sanctions and revocations for people who previously would have been admitted to bond, which is a kind of a long way of saying a lot of these folks who have been arrested and released have not been able to stay out of trouble. And so because of that, we've had an opportunity, I guess, to bring that inability to stay out of trouble back to the attention of the court, which has resulted in a number of people getting admonished or sanctioned, maybe getting a few days in jail. And with more than just a few, it's caused a revocation in their pretrial release, so they're back in jail. As a result, I'm seeing that the jail population is climbing, that's not really bad or good. We're not particularly shooting for a particular number, but I think what I'm trying to say is that process is working pretty well, and we'll keep you advised as to how it affects us from a funding standpoint, but right now I think we're fairly well satisfied with the way it's working. So if you, pending that, or if you have any other questions, that's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Circuit Clerk. Sheriff's Office.
To kind of go along with what State Attorney was saying, our office has been extremely busy making a lot of arrests, and the State Attorney Assistant State Attorney's help will be able to actually keep some of these people in jail and then once we've previously arrested and arrest again, or they do something while they're on pretrial release, they are staying in our jail, so kind of able to give us a break and start focusing on the next crime. We will be, we're looking at doing a testing for deputies to update our eligibility list. We'll probably be doing that next month. And next Thursday, I will be attending the Wayne City School Board meeting to present our proposal you guys voted on last time. You guys have any questions?
Thank you, Chris. Sheriff's Committee, I'm going to get your report. Sheriff's Committee, would you like to give your report?
Really, he's pretty well covered everything. He did say he had 28 inmates, 2 of them from Edwards County. They went into a contract for their taser and body cam for 10 years, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you, Dean. County Clerk.
You will not have anything to report tonight. Unless there's no question.
Treasurer's Office.
I don't have anything to report. Here if you have questions.
Thank you. Supervisor of Assessment. Coroner.
I don't have anything formal to report unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Terry. Health Department.
You didn't give me anything to talk about tonight?
Okay. Fire and Finance.
New business.
Yeah, I didn't know that. ARPA.
So I have nothing to bring out at this point.
Did the highway department put anything in? Did Dennis put anything in on ARPA? You received anything?
I haven't seen him.
Okay, he said I think he may have emailed to you right about it yet.
Last month, when we approved the $17,000 for the electricity in, you mentioned Wayne White's bill. You had a bill from Wayne White?
I think so.
Okay, because they informed me that they've never sent a bill.
We paid it. I can tell you that. So,
I'd like to see a copy of it.
well, go see the treasurer. She's got one.
I also have something else on the page.
Okay. We got, claims and finance.
I got some more on new business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, I'm requesting that we get our budget numbers in the September meeting, not November when we vote on it in November. And I'm asking it to be presented to us in the booklet. That way we have from September to October to look at it. We can ask questions in October, have November then to decide on that. And I talked to the guy that does it, Dave, or Kinchlow, what's his first name? Dave. And he said that is possible to be done. But he informed me that he informed the finance committee last year that he was retiring at the end of the summer, that he probably wouldn't be around to do it. So we probably need to be looking for somebody.
Okay. Wonder why he hasn't informed us.
He said he informed the finance committee last year when he turned the budget in. That's what he told me today.
I don't remember him saying that. He may have, been a year ago.
But you're right, we'll have to get somebody.
And I talked to a few of the officers, and they said they always have their stuff turned in, usually by the 1st of August. And he said it could be done, and he felt like it should be ahead of time instead of the last minute.
Oh, I agree.
He was going to be here, but I don't know what happened.
I agree, Andy, sooner the better. I they can do it for them, that's fine. I mean, if that's what we want to do, we just need to request that all the department heads get their proposed budgets in.
Usually, I ask for them to be done in July.
Yeah, I agree.
Chairman, I got a question.
Yeah.
Who specific person or committee needs to talk today and make, see if he's gonna do it this year or get someone that?
Well, that's the finance committee, we need to follow up on that. There is a service called Bellwether, but that's I prefer to go local myself. All right, thanks, we have one page minute.
We went over the bills and really didn't find any big hiccups, did we? We didn't find any big hiccups, did we? So,
Looks good.
make a motion to approve the payment of bills.
Okay, have motion, Stephen, to pay the bill. Then move second. Roll call.
Craig Greenwald,
Yes.
Andy Barber, Steve Manning,
Yes.
Mark Hudson,
Yes.
Steve Troyer, Randy Hedrick,
Yes.
Matt Shree,
Yes.
Bill Bruce,
Yes.
Gene Polak,
Yes.
Darryl Hargrave.
Yes. EMA.
Got a couple things we're working on. Big one right now is we have to redo a hazard mitigation grant and evaluation of the county every 5 years. And we've started that process with Greater Wabash and University of Illinois. This year we're in with 4 other counties as well. Try to consolidate some resources there. The grant that we received to do that pays for all of that work, so there's no cost to the county. But the reason it's important is we have to have that hazard evaluation in place in order to receive quite a bit of the federal monies that are out there for various grants. So they require that to be done for other grants to be paid. So that's why we're working on it. I thought I might go ahead and have one of the gentlemen from Greater Wabash come in and kind of give a presentation to the board, if you would like, to kind of explain some of the things we're doing with that. And there is some public meetings that would be beneficial if some of the board members could make, because those hours go towards our cumulative hours for that grant. We have to show a certain amount of work time on it for that process for FEMA. So I'd like to schedule that here in the next month or two, if everyone's okay with that, to have him come in and kind of talk about it a little bit. I assume I'll just get with Liz Ann about setting that up.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, we've been doing, with the storms, we've been doing a lot of work with the National Weather Service. Been working with them for probably 2 years now, is quite heavily to make some changes, because part of our problem with the Paducah being our National Weather Service is that we are at the edge of their radar. So a lot of times they miss stuff because their radar shoots too high. So that's why it's important for our spotters to be out, because we can have something that's lower in the clouds and they not see it. So one of the things they've done, and I don't know if I've mentioned this, I may have, but they lowered the beam from 10,000 feet to 6,000 feet for us. And so now that's still a mile up, which isn't ideal, but it is better than what it was. And I don't know, you may have noticed this last couple months, the warnings have been more prevalent. And that's not just because the weather's been that way, it's because they're actually seeing some of this stuff now on radar, and we're not having it reported to them. So we're going to continue to work with them, try to better that situation where we get better response from the National Weather Service, and better warnings for our people, and continue to work with that. And there was something else, I don't know what it was, it wasn't that important, so I guess we'll worry about it later. But that's the 2 big things we've got going on. Oh, I just get ready for our summer activities, that's what I was going to tell you. We've got 4th of July fair, Wayne County Fair, and the parades will start up after that and stuff, so pretty busy. Any questions?
Thank you, Jeff. Animal control, welfare.
I don't have anything, all I know is, it seems like that animal control is a very, very hard thing to deal with. On all sides.
Insurance and education.
Carol, on insurance and education, is Brandon the chairman of that? When you're talking about this budget being done, we need to have those quotes in by July too, for in budget. We're going to do that with them,
He's reached out to
so. Yeah,
a couple of reps already.
and also you all got a flyer or should have an appointment in your way. And you guys really need to consider going to that conference in St. Louis instead of up in Peoria. And it's hosted by the one that carries Medicare, which carries our health insurance for the county. And I went last year, and they have a lot of very informative stuff to say and answer any questions you guys have. So I think it's important if you can try to make that.
Building and grounds.
Eddie's in England.
He's in England?
Called me for Kansas City.
Economic development.
Everybody was caught up last month. There is a couple of them that, sorry. Everybody is paid through May. FCC and parent owes just for June still, which is typically because the due date is usually after our meeting. But everybody is caught up today, other than those two, but it's not due till the 14th. Does that concur with your? That's worked very well to turn that over to the village.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Rules and policy, liquor commission.
We're waiting on, they got the contact, I did contact Jeff. I did tell what his name is, he will do a temporary line. We'll do that. He got 5 months to.
There's no provisions. If a business changes hands, and say our liquor license is kind of like a semi-license, they're yearly.
Yeah.
The business changes hands, they're just caught.
He doesn't have to buy his license, he has to. That's no different than my wife bought Barnard out. They bought license to sell trailers next month, they're trying to do it, they didn't probate me, I had to pay that year and next year. It's way.
Okay. I entertain a motion to go into executive session, contract talks. Andy? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay.
I would ask for Mr. Murphy to stay and Kevin Kikak to stay. I would ask for Mr. Murphy to stay and Kevin Kikak to stay in the executive session.
Kevin Kikak.
And Jeff Murphy.
I would ask him to walk out for now.
Okay.
We can call him back in later.
That'd be fine.
said, do I have a motion to adjourn? Steve?
I'll say it.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay.